Hey buddy, what's up? Yeah, I'm watching a video right now. Yeah, no, I started vacation today. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I'd love to do that. Hold on, let me ask my wife. Hey baby?
Yeah?
Hey, do you mind if I help a buddy out with his truck?
I don't care.
Alright. Yeah, man, I can help you out. Oh, God, if I leave now, yeah. If I leave now, be there in about 20 hours if I leave now.
Where are you going?
Hold on. Florida!
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I'll be right there, bud. Yeah, going to Florida. See you later. Be right there. So a couple things happened. I've been on the road since 2 o'clock in the morning. It's almost 8 o'clock now. When I was going through DC, I get to the south of DC. I'm on the I-95 corridor, and I see two sport bikes fly by me. Now, the first one that flew by me looked familiar. I knew I see that bike before. It was red, and it flew by pretty quickly. The second one, however, I knew who owned that one. It was Jogo 101. He flew by me. He has a R1 with a wrap done on it with lights all over. And I think that at that point in time, it must have been like 3 o'clock in the morning on I-95 South. The other guy probably was Jimbo. And Jogo just kind of flew right on by me. That was really, really cool to see. Right now, I'm in North Carolina, I think like 50 miles north, or yeah, about 50 miles north of the South Carolina border. Nothing. This trip is pretty uneventful. Again, south of DC, I did run into on 95. I did run into someone doing a rolling drag race. It was two Mazdas and a Volkswagen doing a rolling drag race about 4 or 5 times. They slowed traffic down enough where I actually got to use my my light bar and my pods and all my headlights just to tell them, get moving. So that was pretty fun. I got to use all my lights. But other than that, should be smooth sailing all the way down through Florida. Just stopped off in Turbyville, South Carolina. I visited a friend real quick. He has a farm. That was interesting. Bunnies, chickens, dogs, rabbits, pig. A lot of weird stuff going on there. The trip it's going pretty smooth. It's long and boring. Long and boring. At least it'll only be about another 30 seconds for you guys. It's going to be about another 12 hours for me. Well, I'm in Florida. As you can tell, I had to break out the sunglasses because, well, the sun decided to come out in the Sunshine State. I believe that's what this is. Anyways, I am on my way to Sarasota. I'm going to spend the night in Sarasota with my father-in-law and my stepmother-in-law. And then tomorrow morning at 6, I'm going to get up and travel another 2 hours south to go with who I'm working with. So that's all I got right now. It's just been a lot of driving. All right, day 2 of my journey. Yesterday, again, there's nothing really exciting happening. Just a lot of driving, a lot of driving, a lot of driving. As you expect to go from Maryland all the way down to Florida. So today it's about 6 a.m. I have roughly about another 2 hours to go to get where I need to go. I am going down towards the Naples, Florida area. Right now I spent the night in Sarasota at my father-in-law's place. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys when I get there. You'll see who I'm working with. After 20 hours of driving, I am here. I'm about to work with someone that I watched before I got my Tacoma when I was looking at Tacomas, and about to help him put a lift kit on his Tacoma. You'll see who it is. I made it. I'm with Duff. That's who I'm working with. We just knocked the wheels off his truck. we're gonna put it down on jack stands, and then we're gonna do his lift kit. I think it's from Low Range Off Road, right?
Low Range Off Road.
All right. I'll put a link in the description someplace here, or click someplace. But yeah, we'll see how this does. I did the 4-inch rough country. Now his is a 2-wheel drive, so hopefully this will go a lot smoother than what mine did in a lot less time. So let's have at it. You saw me knock the skid plate off. Duff has the driver's side lower control arm bolts that he's loosening up. I loosened these up. The backside was the most, I think he used JB weld on that before I got here just to laugh at me. Right now, you gotta, I believe if memory serves me right, you gotta remove these upper sway bar controlling links. Get this out of the way. You gotta remove this bolt, and I think there, this bolt right here. Whole thing's good. Whole thing will drop right down, get out of the way. At that point in time, we can remove the coil and put his spacer on. About to take the bolts up here on the strut to loosen everything up and get everything taken out. I'm going to remove these two, loosen the back one, then we're going to remove this bottom bolt. Whole strut assembly will come out. This is going a lot quicker than when I worked on my truck. We're only about 15 minutes into this. This is really, really simple. Just started doing this like a month ago.
Yeah, when did your channel, how long ago did you start the channel?
The same time you saw Taco Bandit and Chad's.
Oh, that was the very first one, really? Okay.
I did the whole idea. I love motorcycling, and I like watching like Do It With Dan and Walterific and all those guys. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be a motorcycle vlogger. And I got thinking about it, like, I'm really not that interesting, and I have a cruiser, so that's not going to work out. And by then, I had already bought the GoPro and all that and convinced my wife, I need this. So, anyway, so then I'm like, you know, I'm working on my truck. I do this, I do that. I watched you. I watched Taco Bandit before I bought my truck just to see what people are actually talking about. And I watched all you guys, and, well, you know, okay, I'll buy it. And then, you know, I did the Cali Ray's LED bar, and I did some of the lighting. And I got thinking about, like, you know, I should really start doing some of this. And finally, my wife's like, yeah, you should lift the truck. I said,
that was her idea?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, go.
So okay. I didn't think twice. You said 47?
Yeah.
Didn't think twice. I bought the lift. I bought the wheels and tires. I got everything together, and then next thing you know, I'm like, okay. And I filmed everything, and I was sitting on the footage for a month because I was scared of editing. I have no clue. I mean, you know what I do for a living. It's far from technical stuff. I'm more of a hit it with a hammer kind of guy. So finally I just got the courage and edited the motorcycle video, the surprise for my wife, and that was really just for friends and family. I'm like, you know what? After 5 hours of editing and trying to figure everything out and doing it twice, I'm like, yeah, this isn't too bad. I think I can do this. So
come on.
you know,
Barely on that thing.
No. Let's just get the right socket. You don't want to strip that. Ran into the first problem. Hopefully the only problem. The socket that we have is just not deep enough for this. And instead of trying to make something work, we're just going to run down to the local AutoZone, get the correct deep well socket, so we have the clearances on this, so we can torque them down right. We made such great time on the truck. I told them just buy the right tool, just so we get the right stuff going. But again, this is only a few minutes into the whole process. This is a really, really nice nice kit, really easy put together so far, especially if you have a buddy helping you out. So, so far so good. Now we're gonna take my truck and head to the local AutoZone, Pep Boys, whatever it is, and go from there. We're back. We got the tools. Let's get this thing done.
All right, we just torqued the bolts in the spacer after we run to AutoZone to get the correct socket. And now we're going to do the other one.
You know, it's not an install unless you go to at least one part store at least one or two times.
I was trying to avoid that, but it's unavoidable.
I think it's law.
I don't think I've ever done a project where I haven't had to do that.
As you saw, we torqued everything down. Everything's good. We're gonna feed everything up through here and get everything going. Duff's doing his side. I'm gonna do mine. All right, now to attach the coil over to the lower control arm. Once you do that, this whole assembly is going to swing forward. Now on the four-wheel drive, it's going to be a little trickier because you do have the actual drive shaft that comes down through here, and then this will be in the way, and you have to deal with all the other happy stuff. But on a two-wheel drive, you have so much room. It's really, really easy. So you guys with two-wheel drive tacos I think Forerunners too will have two-wheel drive systems. It's the same front end. Really easy to install. Really, really simple. Really, really slick. So let's do this. All right, I am not a pro, but I guess you could call this a pro tip. Now, Low Range says use a ratchet strap to bring the whole lower control arm and ball joint assembly up. I had a lift when I did mine, so I just dropped it down onto a jack stand. Duff has a second hydraulic jack. I said, well, why don't we use that instead of trying to force everything up and hold everything up? We can just pump everything up. All right, so what we're doing is we're using the jack to actually compress. You see the spring compressing right over here, and we'll align everything that way instead of using ratchet straps. This I view as a much safer way of doing this. A little bit more solid, but still all the same. Make sure your hands and feet are in the ride at all times. You don't want to lose any limbs. 12 minutes later, we got it.
Oh, you were rolling?
Yeah, the entire time. This is a bit of a bitch to line up. We really want to make sure we didn't cross anything because, well, Duff said his Toyota dealer sucks around here, and if we cross-threaded, then we have to get these bolts probably from them because it's probably proprietary. So just take your time. If you have a buddy, you saw I used the actual screwdriver to align the other hole. We got it through, started, and then just tighten everything back up through there. Get your inner Mario Brothers on. I have no reason to actually own one of these. I have no idea why I have one, how I got one, or where I got one. But you need this pipe wrench to actually get to the bump stop and actually take the bump stops off and loosen them up. Again, I have no reason to actually own one of these, but when Duff said, hey, you know, we need a pipe wrench, I said, you know, I think I have one hanging on my wall. I'll bring it down with me. So you will need a pipe wrench. It needs to open up about yay far, maybe a little farther, just to take the bump stop off. That's all you need it for, just to break it loose, and the whole thing comes right out. The bump stop. This is, yeah, it doesn't stop my camera from being bumped. This thread feels like it's like 6 miles to go.
Yeah, I was surprised that you had enough room to put that spacer in there, but it must be a really long thread.
There it is. There's the thread. There's the bump stop. All right, guys, spacer, bump stop, goes back in. It's really, that's all there is to it. Shit. You know what? Did all that, and I forgot something. All right, take two. Bump stop, thread lock, spacer. Now that should be it. I thought we were done. And I had Duff convinced he was done too, and we're about to put the belly pan on, and then he realized, oh, wait a minute, we got to tighten up the cam bolts. So we did do that before we got any further and before we put everything together. Now, make sure, tighten both front and back cam bolts. That's why we marked everything to begin with, make sure everything is fairly aligned, and then just kind of eyeball it, torque it down. He's going to go get an alignment here after we're done pretty soon. So you don't want to drive hundreds of miles, but it's good enough to get you to your local shop and get everything done. And then while you're there, just kind of clean everything up. The noise you hear in the background, Duff's cleaning the skid plate up on the backside. He had dirt and oil from doing an oil change last time or something like that. So we're just going to clean that up, zip everything on, and then we're going to move to the back of the truck and just kind of go from there. All right, yeah, easy. Blocks and shocks my ass. To do this, I did mine on a lift. If you're doing it on the floor, you're gonna need 2 jack stands and you're gonna need a buddy. Doing this by yourself is a no bueno situation. What you're gonna have to do, knock off the tires, loosen up the U-bolts that hold all this on, take the bolts out of the shocks, make sure everything's up in the air. We supported the spring itself, the front side of the spring, right here on both sides. After you're done with that, drop the rear differential housing. This is where it gets interesting, and we didn't have cameras rolling, but it was pretty comical. Duff and myself holding the axle in place while trying to make it roll, just to get these blocks to line up. If you try and do one side at a time, you're off by like a 1/4 inch. It's not going to go no matter how hard you try. You have to do both at the same time. And then we used 2 hydraulic jacks to lift everything up evenly at the same time. And once we did that, wouldn't you know, everything actually fit. So just take your time, get a buddy, and you can knock it out. All right. Now we're just putting everything back together. Just a couple U-bolts, tighten everything down. I think the instructions say between 75 and 100 foot-pounds in a crossing pattern on the 4. Put the wheels back on, and literally that's it on the back. So it's really not technically hard. It's just, if you're doing it on the ground, you have to have a degree from Redneck U. So, which I do, and Duff is getting education in. All right, we're out in the nice hot Florida weather. It was raining earlier. We finished. Everything got wet. What they don't tell you in the instructions is you need to align the headlights after you're done. Before you get started, I should have let off with this, but it's not even in the instructions and no one will tell you, but I did this before. Before the instructions, before you begin, mark off like with blue painter's tape, a spot on the wall, so you could tell where the factory level is. Once you have the spot on the wall and get your factory level line, then you can go ahead. There's adjustment screws behind the headlights on both left and right. You can go ahead and bring your headlights down so they're not blinding the other drivers. On the passenger side, what you see Duff here is doing, he's putting the windshield wiper bottle back in place. There's 2 10mm bolts that we're holding that on, just so we can move that out of the way and get to the alignment screws. All we have left now is we're going to give his rig a run, make sure there's no major clangs, the wheels stay on, the suspension doesn't fall out, and the truck doesn't flip over. I'm pretty confident, like at least 50%.
Yeah, me too.
We should be good. So we're finally done.
We're done.
Everything went fairly well. I think we had only a little bit of a hiccup, but we seem to prevail. You did a great job. Now I have a very serious question for you.
Okay. I'll give you a
Because
serious answer.
because this will come up undoubtedly in the comments, because it has in mine. Did you ruin your truck?
No. No, actually the test drive, it felt totally normal. And the great thing is with a kit like this, it's reversible, 100%. So
Okay.
if I did ruin it, I can unruin it. But so far, it feels great.
All right. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's bottom line. It's his truck. Yeah, I know. You should have 8100 or 5100 shocks. You should have done this. You should have done that. But for the money, for the results, and for the time put into it, let's face it, these are our daily drivers. We're not going hardcore off-roading. I don't have to climb a mountain, nor does Duff Man here have to climb a mountain to get to work.
Very flat in Florida.
Yeah, and where I am in Maryland, every once in a while I'll go off-road. But I think for the money, especially on a two-wheel drive truck, even consider it four-wheel drive, it's well worth it. Just take an afternoon, bugs. Just take an afternoon, get a buddy, and just pay them with pizza and beer. He paid me in a sub, so I'm good. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Everything went in very well. I want to thank Duff for allowing me to come down and help him out with the lift install. I had a fun time when I was down there. It took me 20 hours to get down to his place, 20 hours to get back to my place. I am now just literally just got back. I'm editing the video as we speak. As you can tell from the stubble, I haven't had very much else to do. I want to get this up for you guys. I just want to, again, thank you for having me come down and helping me out. It was a lot of fun. Love to do it again in the future. I do want to address something. As I was down there, some of you guys found out I was down there in the Florida area and wanted to meet me. I just didn't have time. I didn't think anyone would want to meet me. In the future, I am going to be making some trips. I will announce well ahead of time where I'm going and what I'm doing. I have something in July I will announce here pretty soon. I just have to find out from someone as to what's going on. I have a buddy coming down from Canada and it will revolve around him. So I'll let you guys know. So if you want to meet me, I'll let you know where I will be, and I'll be more than happy to meet any of you guys. Again, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if it's your first time stopping in and checking out my stuff. I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Until next time, just go do some stuff.